Welcome to Hops News, the trusted source in beer culture news. Here's your host, Jay Brew.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. As it sounds like the world's falling in on top of me. I don't know if you guys can hear all that racket out there that the Navy's making, but
Pew, pew.
them boys are definitely busy lately. I will tell you, I don't think they've slept.
Why? What's going on?
I don't know. They're practicing landing on mosquitoes out in the ocean or something. But yeah, it's been pretty active around here, as anyone around the military base right now, I'm sure, can attest. Been some interesting times. Been some crazy times, and what's been interesting about this one is obviously, there's conflict that goes on around the world almost 24/7 nowadays, right? Like Afghanistan is still a thing, and all of that are still things. So, but this is kind of the first event in a while that's started, right? Like a full-on invasion by a country of another country. I don't know the last time I can remember that, like other than maybe Kosovo, but that was more of a civil war. So it's kind of interesting how this has unfolded. Obviously, the beer community has had an interesting response, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, as the title of the show is Beer and War. And honestly, the history is probably much deeper and much more rich than what even people realize. And it didn't take long for this conflict before beer became kind of the forefront of a lot of social media. At least the ones that I'm on and that we follow as an outlet, as a podcast. So it's been an interesting observation. I won't go into too much detail, but somebody that I work closely with has been directly affected by it. They have family, very close family, in Ukraine still. So it's been interesting, and it's not been easy for those folks. I can promise you that. We're getting a lot of good coverage. The interesting thing about this one so far, right? Like if you want live coverage, follow TikTok, follow Mill Talk, Ukraine Talk, whatever side of TikTok you're going to be on. That has been absolutely phenomenal. How quick that coverage is getting out through that social media outlet. over even some of the news agencies. Really, it's been kind of crazy. I don't know how true it is, but they say the evidence of Putin and Russia using thermo devices was first captured in TikTok. Again, I don't know how true it is, but that's what the word out on the social media street is. So it's been pretty interesting. We obviously had a little bit of involvement with some support this past weekend that we'll talk about a little bit later. But it's been fun, and I think we've got Hoppy is out on the town with. I think it's a strange guy. I haven't seen Josh in any of those pictures yet, but I think she's going to say.
There, or is he just a taxi device or taxi service?
I think he's just driving them around. No, Hoppy and Josh are out enjoying a night on the town. It doesn't appear that they're tied down with the children this evening, so they're enjoying it. But I think she's going to check in at some point, and when she does, we'll bring her in live and from location and figure out how Lauren's day is going. I would tell you she's produced a lot of content that's sent, so we'll put it out on our talk outlet here in the next couple of days or so. So go check it out there. Some good videos to discuss. But we do have, fresh off a PT test, we've got the man himself.
It's your boy,
Matt the closer, out in Mountain Home, Idaho. Matt, how's it going out there?
We're double fisting in celebration tonight. On this hand, we have Lake Placid's. What the hell is this one? It is Ubu Ale. And on this hand, we have Treehouse Julius. Good staple of back home. So good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yes, I had a. For those of you who don't know, beer and war, this kind of relates because, hey, you know what? I happen to be in the Air Force. My views are my own, and they do not represent that of the DoD. Anyways, I had a PT test today. I've been kind of cutting back on beer and things like that. And, I got to get ready to run old Putin down in the forests of Russia. So I had to go get fit. But I passed it. We're good. Drinking some beers. Happy to be here. And, I've got a couple people that I know that I've been stationed with, good friends. His wife's family is actually in Kharkiv, which has been one of the more hit cities really in the news lately. So, man, also shout out to my friend Brandon in the chat real quick. He said he was at Port City Brewery today. And, man, I've been there, actually. It's a really good place in the Alexandria, Virginia area and wicked good brewery. So cheers to you, Brandon. And thanks again for hooking that guest up last week.
Oh, man, another Virginia brewery I got to check out?
It's good. So it's in the Alexandria area. Really good. I actually have their pint glass still, but really great vibes. They got live music that actually plays in their little brew house. The tap room is amazing. Their beer, they've got when I was there was over 10 beers on tap. So that might have changed, recently, and it's been a couple of years, but you got to get there. Port City, great brewery.
Nice. I will have to check that out for sure. I would tell you, there's no shortage of good breweries in the Virginia area. Like the immediate area that I'm now call home half the time has been kind of wild. Definitely some great selections. I'm drinking actually tonight from our the
unofficial Christmas time sponsors.
Yeah, the unofficial Christmas time sponsors. That is no doubt. We probably need to hit them up. As many Secret Santa boxes as these beers end up in. This is from Micah, and I will tell you right now, it's Christmas pancakes, imperial milk stout with spices, honey, and maple syrup. I've got to see if I can find one of these again. I would like to just cook this down into like a real syrup and put on some pancakes. Could. Yeah, because it is phenomenal. Mike has always got the hookup on Hardywood. I think he like part of their distribution network.
Another Virginia brewery too is Stable that we've talked about. I want to get them on. So they actually follow the geeks on TikTok, and I'm like, man, that's somebody I want to get on the show because when he was describing to us the brewery, I was like, that sounds amazing. But every day just seeing their videos, and it's like the food, the huts that you can stay at, the yurts, whatever you want to call it, to stay in overnight, the horse, man, the beer, that's a brewery I'd love to hit up real bad. I'm hoping in about a year, I'm gonna see what I can do to get sent, to the Virginia, North Carolina area in about a year when I'm due to get orders out of Idaho. So hopefully the
Nice.
beer gods are with me, man.
Well, I went and got the after Micah posted in the fam group there about the Chubbles, the Veil collaboration release, and found out they had it in stock at the Norfolk location. I beelined it as soon as I got out of the office. I was headed there to check that out, and I will tell you, it didn't disappoint. I also grabbed a hamburger over there, and talking about food, they have a smash burger over there called the Codex. Jesus, son, it'll put you in a coma. Had that, a 12-ounce pour of the Chubbles, which was an Imperial IPA, and I was good to go. Almost didn't make it to the show.
I had an Imperial IPA Tracy, one of our friends, Lauren and I's friend, sent from Other Half Brewing. That thing about knocked me on my ass, man. I was like, what is the ABV on this beer? And I look and it's 10.5%. And I was like, God dang. Like,
Yeah.
it was a Saturday late afternoon. And I'm sitting there like, bless. I'm not even going to make it to 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. The interesting thing about the Veil, thankfully, it was just a 12-ounce pour. So the interesting thing about the Veil is, one, they are very proud of their beer. It is not cheap. Chubbles, 10% collaboration, Imperial IPA, 12-ounce pour, $7.50.
That's actually pretty reasonable, I feel like.
For 12 ounces?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's sort of reasonable. No, I guess for 12 ounces, no, you're right. Because if you're getting a 16-ounce pour, you're looking at $6 and change or so, something like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, $7.50 for 12 ounces.
That's fair.
That's a what is that? That's a $28 4-pack of 16-ounce beers.
Bless, man.
Out of the tap, man.
The beer's going up, man. It's hard out there.
Well, the funny thing about it was I bought a 4-pack of it in 16-ounce cans for $19.
Oh, really? That's $1 cheaper than most 4-packs these days.
Yep. And I've got some for you guys. So.
Actually, so I'll believe it or not. So there's a local homebrew spot called Homebrew Stuff out in Garden City, and they actually have a really good bottle shop and a lot of beers from Portland, Oregon coming over now. And surprisingly, I think I bought 8 beers from them and it was only $33. So like the beers are pretty reasonably priced for the most part. Like obviously there's a couple higher end ones. I'm also able to get hands on Great Notion. I just have to drive about 45 minutes past Boise over the Oregon border. And there's a bottle shop / food place, I guess, that I've been told that has Great Notion. So I might make that trek. Maybe I'll do that next Friday. I'll make that trek out.
Yeah, Great Notion does some great beers as well.
Oh yeah, they are known for a lot of their flavors that they put in beers. So that's a brewery that's a bucket list brewery to hit up.
Yeah, yeah, it's been fun drinking my way around the Virginia Beach and Norfolk area for sure. Hit up some great breweries, got some great beer to send Lauren and Matt. Hopefully get out in the mail this week, if not this week, next week, and they can experience some Virginia Beach beer. Beer and war. I will tell you, it has really taken kind of hold. It's kind of brought back the history of beer and war, right? Just the recent events with the Ukraine. And early, I think late last week, maybe Friday or Saturday, it became apparent that Pravda Brewing, they actually call it the translation of this brewery from Ukraine to English, and I don't know if it's Ukrainian or what's the language over there, but whatever their native language is, I don't know. Yeah, their translation to English is beer or Pravda Beer Theater, which is kind of interesting. You think about what that is for us, and you if you look at the pictures and that sort of thing of the location, it almost is kind of fitting for them. So they launched right away. One of their employees, and I don't know who he was or what position he held.
Yuri. His name is Yuri.
Yuri. And I know he's said recently within some of his posts that he was a cellarman, and I don't know that is true or not, but he talks about himself as being a cellarman there. Posted that they were, drinking beer at Pravda Brewing or brewery or beer company or beer theater and making Molotov cocktails out of the empties.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. I mean, think about that.
Can you imagine? Well, put it in comparison, right? Last year, maybe 2 years ago, how many breweries in America alone were trying to, were making their own hand sanitizer, right? Now, imagine turning that into Molotov cocktails, and it's insane. It really puts in perspective life in a way as well. It's just like, to see how they've all come together has been astonishing for one, but just like getting that glimpse into that whole world of, one day we're brewing beer, the next day these bottles, they're instruments of death, man. We're pouring styrofoam in them because that makes everything more sticky. I even saw videos of kids with these bottles like putting styrofoam in there. I'm like, it's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing about it is this brewery has actually kind of started a mission, right? Like, support us. We're taking the bottles that we would normally put beer in and making Molotov cocktails out of them. And it was, I think, Saturday morning when I finally realized, hey, on their website, like, you can buy beer from them on their website. Obviously, much more difficult task than what you would realize, because English is not their native language, and that's not the language of their website. So literally, I spent probably an hour and a half trying to buy a case of beer off of their website, and just because it's like every other website that you order from, right? Like, if you order it, you've got to put a shipping address that's legit. Like, what? I don't know.
I can't get it. I just want to support my beer, man. Like, what do you want me to put?
Yeah, like, I can't put my address because it's gonna say I can't deliver there. And I kept trying to interpret what the address of the local brewery, what the brewery address was, because I didn't want them to think that this was an order that they actually needed to deliver somewhere or pay shipping or any. Some websites, as soon as you place the order, you got to pay for the shipping. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen for the company. So it took me a while, but I finally got it accomplished. And then, you get it all the way to the point where you think you got the address right, and then you try to put your credit card in there, and your credit card company is like, hey, dummy, we're not hitting your credit card in Ukraine right now.
Yeah, like, this is not happening.
Yeah, this is not going to happen because we see your...
I promise.
Yeah. So after about an hour and a half, I finally made it a done deal. We bought a case of Red's... what was it? Red's Pale Ale, I think is what it was.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, Red's Pale Ale. We bought a case of it from Hops News. It was addressed from Hops News, and I think the message was, drink the case at the brewery, use the empties to make Molotov cocktails, and fuck Russia. And literally within 10 minutes of making that purchase, we received an email from somebody on the other side that said, thanks for the support. I don't even recall the entire email, but I responded to him and I said, hey guys, best of luck, well wishes. I hope everybody is safe. Hope you guys are doing well. When we make it out of this, we'd love to chat with you. And they, responded, of course. So, it is times like this that the best of people come out, and hope that we can, support their mission in a little bit of a positive way over there. I don't, hopefully they're turning those beers into Molotov cocktails and taking it to them. But hey, hold on just a second. I think we've got Lauren with us. Let's go bring in Lauren here and see where she's at.
She's got the vibe going in the background, making us all feel awful.
It sounds like it. Hey, there she is. Lauren, can you hear us? Oh, yeah. Where are you at right now?
It's Ormond Brewing Company.
Hey, Josh. Just want you to know I love you. Scooter gang. Never forgot.
Scooter gang. He's not having to take the
Yeah,
kids
they
out
got a
tonight.
little taco food truck. I took a little video inside. So this is like old.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
that 5G don't work like it's supposed to.
It never does, man. We're supposed to have 5G here, and I will tell you right now, it doesn't work worth a shit.
It does. Same like Boise, it does, but Mountain Home, it goes dead. By the way, I do have the email. Hello, dear friend. Thank a lot this hard time for their support to Ukraine. Thank you. We will not forget your support. And hell yeah, like
Man, I just
it's
mean,
crazy.
yeah, at what point I can't imagine working at a brewery one day and the next day you're making Molotov cocktails out of empties to defend your territory.
So that leads me to this little funny that it's not funny, but there's humor to be found in the situations, right? So there was a thing that was shared today from Yuri. Oh, do we have her again?
Do we have her back? I think we got her back.
We go to Lauren real quick before I get to the goods.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you're going to have me. I don't think my service is the best here.
It's 5G, isn't it?
Well, there's like barely any service, but I'm on their Wi-Fi too, and it's not going great. But I'm drinking a donut stout in honor of Matt's Donut Geek.
Oh, nice.
Toga.
So, Hoppy, you've kind of been like on a brewery crawl today, right? Because you've sent us content from a few different places.
So we, the in-laws picked the kids up at about 2:30. So we left at 3, and we stopped at Central 28, which is the brewery Big Rick works at. So we had a beer there, and then we went over to Person and Hollow Brewing. No, but I did send him a message. He wasn't there at the time. He responded, but yeah, he wasn't there. But we did talk to, the taproom manager, Josh? So we talked to her for a little bit. Since the last time we've been there, they added like a whole extra area that, you can hang out. It's actually a really cool brewery. And they said about 2/3 of the beer they produce is actually distributed. But that was pretty cool because last time I was there, I was a little bit tipsy because I finished my Central Florida Ale Trail there. And then we went over to Persimmon Hollow and had a beer. That's a really cool little spot in DeLand. And there's another location in Lake Eola, or on Lake Eola, which is downtown Orlando, which is not as cool as the DeLand location. And now we are at Ormond Beach Brewing, or Ormond Brewing Company. I keep saying Ormond Beach because we're in Ormond Beach. And tomorrow we're heading to St. Augustine to check out those breweries because we haven't done that yet. And that's what we're doing.
Nice. So a weekend away from the kids? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, on Saturday it is our 11-year anniversary. So we are taking some much-needed time away.
That is awesome. Well, congratulations to Lauren and Josh on 11 years and spending it in breweries. What more could you ask for?
Much needed.
Josh, how are you?
They asked, how are you?
Still love you.
He gave 2 thumbs up. Yeah, so
Awesome.
Josh packed a scooter.
Josh,
I don't know where.
first of all, Scooter
this weekend
Gang.
will take
Second
us.
of all, Josh, blink twice if Lauren's holding there against your will.
Matt said blink twice if you're being held against your will. I don't know what that means. He didn't say wink twice. He said blink twice. I think wink twice means something else.
Well, in that case, I'm on my way.
That's awesome. Well, you're getting some anniversary well wishes in the chat, Lauren, you'll have to check that out when you get a chance. But when you get back next week, if we do this next week, if we can line it up, we would definitely like a beer and war beer school. Because I just Googled it earlier, and there's a lot more history behind beer and war than what I would ever imagine. And I think Matt is going to talk about it a little bit. But if we can get the full-blown Hoppy Beer School on beer and war, that would be awesome.
Definitely. Yeah. 100%. I will do that.
Awesome. Lauren, appreciate you. You guys have a happy anniversary, and I hope you drink your way around all the breweries you pass.
Oh, we will.
Awesome. Good checking in. Are you going to hang out with us for a little bit, or do you got to go, or do you want to get involved in the conversation, or what's your status?
Well, how's my reception doing?
It's not bad right now.
It's doing pretty good right now.
All right, I'll hang out for a little bit, but if I'm bad, I don't want to hold you guys up. Then I'll just hang up.
Okay.
Or sit until I get too drunk.
Well, don't. If that's the case, don't hang up. Then that's when the party will really get started. Hey, it's been an interesting week, Matt. You were talking about the beer and war in Pravda and what they were going through and brewing beer one day and the next day making Molotov cocktails out of their empties.
Yes. So, real quick, there is a brewery called Utopian Brewing in Great Britain. They said that for the Facebook groups that don't like Ukrainian chat, they are standing with Ukraine. 5 pounds from every case of premium lager or 10 degrees sold will be donated to Ukrainian support charities. So, what I did, and here's like a little picture to show you what's going on. I don't know if you can see it, but what I did was I reached out to them. I was like, yo, because it came across my Twitter feed. I was like, we would love to support in some way. How can we support? Since you can't send beer this way, I was like, we will gladly buy a 4 or 6 pack, whatever they come in. And you can just give them to somebody as long as the money, goes to these charities. So I'm currently working that, and more to come from that angle. But I do have a little something funny. So Yuri, our good friend Yuri from Pravda Brewing Theater, he reached out. So his message to Brewdog was, "Hello, Yuri here, owner of Pravda Brewery in Ukraine." I can't pronounce that word. I don't know what it is. It's Lviv. It's in the western part of Ukraine. That's one of their more popular cities. That's like the fallback if their government needs to escape. So anyways, I propose to make an online freedom collab beer together, you via Zoom, at our brewery, and use the proceeds for the relief program locally. Brewdog replied, "Hey Yuri, can you please send us an email so we can forward you to the correct department, please? Thanks." He goes, "Yes, let me finish hiding in the cellar between 2 airstrike alarms and write you the very same sentence by email from your convenience." And they replied, "As you can imagine, I can't pass along Facebook messages to the department that will be able to help with this." And so he posted on Facebook, he was like, "Best regards from the cellar. Good to have one near the brewery. It's the first airstrike alarm of today, hopefully the last. On a good note, adds cardio walking up and down the stairs." So Yuri's actually the owner of that brewery. And it's kind of funny that he's able to find humor, in such a shitty situation, for lack of a better word. But yeah, let me take the time from running to the cellar during an air raid to just type the same sentence to you. Like, you're working the Facebook page. You're telling me you can't just copy paste this to the correct department? I don't know.
Or screenshot.
Yeah, screenshot and then send it yourself. Be like, this dude is trying to get a hold of us. We want to do so. At Bottle Share, we currently have over $1,800 raised to send to that brewery alone right now. So I'm trying to find a brewery that would be on board, but I want to do something like that in America. If Brewdog is going to fail, I'm trying to find a brewery that we're friends with or in some capacity and be like, hey, let's hook this up and let's make this happen to support these guys. So more to come from there, but war and beer, good times.
Yeah, the Brewdog social media person must not realize how much the screenshots in corporate America sent through emails and Teams chat accomplishes in a day. Like, yeah, fuck, if I couldn't take a screen snippet with, what is it, Control-Shift-S, like if I couldn't do that, at least 100 times in a day, I honestly wouldn't get shit done.
All I do is send screenshots. That's all I do all day. I mean, exactly. I wouldn't get anything done. And it's easy. Like, look, you can easily screenshot, be like, hey, this is an urgent matter. You work for the company already. You're handling their social media. You've got to know who to talk to at this point. Boom. I have this. Let's get in contact.
Yeah, I when you sent that, I almost thought this can't be real. But the more I looked at it, I realized that's like legit. That's from their, company's social media accounts. Kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you.
I even looked. His Facebook is public for the most part, so you can go and look.
Yeah.
Because I found him and I reached out and I was like, hey, we're doing this.
So Patrick chimes in, not to change subjects. Where's Mark and Brad? We got an update from those guys, don't we, Matt?
We certainly do have an update from those guys. Mark and Brad might be a little busy because their tap room opened this week. Soft opening. The grand opening is April 1st, but they soft opening, and they were sending me pictures, posting pictures in the Nashville Beer Group. Their tap room holds like 50 people. They were about at capacity, all from the time they opened, all the way till the time they closed. So like, absolutely killer job by those two gentlemen. It's been in the works for 2 years. I mean, ever since we've been doing this podcast, Brad's, hey, common law, common law. Well, guess what? It is finally here, Spring Hill, Tennessee. The brewery's open. Tap room's open. Go get yourself a fresh, cold beer of Supreme Court Justice.
Perfect timing, right? Because, like, isn't that a thing again? Like, the Supreme Court's a thing again, right?
I think we're doing, it's... I think they're nominating another Supreme Court person, and then this politics are just a clown show as it is anymore.
Yeah,
I can't keep up.
Let's not get started with politics on top of beer and war. Hey, yeah, another great beer story, Lakefront. Check this out. Lakefront Brewing created a Putin is a Dick beer. Check that out. That is awesome. That is the spirit, right? Like the beer industry, you're going to watch. Like this is not the only Putin is a Dick beer we're going to see. I have a feeling that the rest of the year, Putin is an asshole, fuck Putin type of beer and products are going to be a pretty big thing. And there's no doubt that the beer drinkers of this country and the beer community of this country is going to support and put a lot of money into this effort. It'll be interesting. Obviously, it's going to be hard to aggregate all of the numbers that are the support that are created because there's so many different channels for it right now. Oh, yeah. But that number is going to be pretty big before all of this is over with efforts like this going on. This is what makes the beer industry fun, right? Like there's not too many manufacturing industries that can pivot as quickly as the beer companies can. Like, I mean, these guys are already putting Putin as a dick on a beer within hours.
It's due to release next Friday, this Friday, March 4th for their, they have a fish fry. So it's releasing tomorrow already. Yeah. Waste no time.
That is crazy.
No time. It is amazing. It is. I think their goal or something like that was to raise like $10,000. I think it was.
Well, it's really interesting, right? The truth of the matter is this company has had this product laid out for a while, right? Like at least a quarter. Like they've known what they're going to name this beer. They've had the labels probably ordered. It looks like they're putting labels on cans with that can that they had there. So they've had all of this they probably had cans purchased because I think Lakefront actually buys printed cans.
I think they do.
Yeah, so they probably had it all laid out. They probably have the cans already bought that they were going to use, and they shifted that quick to this. They're man, this is such a big deal. We're going to call this beer something else and order some labels just to put on our slick cans and run with it. That is the type of stuff about the beer community and the beer industry, especially here in the States, that absolutely amazes me. Like pivot on a dime. Let's do something different about fuck Putin.
Well, it's great because so many people, without a second thought, how fast did everybody come together? I mean, in a heartbeat, overnight, basically, right? Like, it's the great thing in a time where it feels as though a lot of us are divided. But then all it does is take something like this to show that, hey, on a dime, we can stop and pivot and we can all come together for a really great cause, right? I mean,
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny how even in the, TikTok, obviously they talk about different sides of TikTok, what side of TikTok you're caught on and that sort of thing. But the interesting thing about the whole military side of social media, and Matt understands this, when shit like this happens, there's like an itch that grows, right? Like the people in the military, whether fellow Americans want to hear it or not, like there's a large percentage of the military population that's like, man, put me on the first fucking thing smoking over there.
So I'll tell you straight up. So this is my personal, Matt Roth speaking here. obviously none of us want to go to war, right? Nobody does. War is shit, especially in this day and age. It's crazy. However, I cannot tell you how like many of us that are basically like we don't want to go to war, but at the same time it's let's go fuck shit up. Let's just because at this point we're sick and tired of it. Like you're starting to like just really infringe on some things, and it's like, all right, just let us go do what our jobs are doing.
Yeah.
Let us go do our jobs. Let us go and do this. Like, because we could, if you could take the reins off and everything else isn't a worry, we can go in there and we can. But the way that their military is shown, we'd be out in a week.
Yeah, it'd be another 100-year or 100-hour war, over in 5 days. Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and Matt knows this as well as anybody, and this is getting more into military and U.S. military side of things. When things aren't popping off, like there's like so
many dumb shit that we have to do.
But there's also like almost like a kid brother type of relationship with armed forces in the United States, right? Like the Marines don't like the Army, and the Army doesn't like the Air Force, and the Navy doesn't like. There's just a lot of like, you're not me, so you're not cool type of attitude, right? But as soon as shit starts to pop off that doesn't even have anything to do with us, they're all brothers again, right? They're like, we'll just go and
get shit done.
Yeah, we'll just go and kick your ass, even though we've got to take the Air Force to get there, and the Air Force needs us to make sure they don't get shot down. And it's just kind of crazy how all of it works. But I will tell you, being a veteran, and obviously Matt knows being active duty, it's times like this that you really understand what it's all about. Because those, it's not our family, it's not our countrymen that are over there dealing with that issue, but we're just so trained to deal with situations like that it's an itch. Like
it is, and I don't mean not to cut you off, but like there is, from personal experience, when we are deployed, we work with a lot of these other countries, so you start to build these friendships. Like, I remember my very first deployment being on the flight line pumping gas for some Canadian jet. And what did they do? They came down. They were talking to me, chatting it up. Hey, here's a box of these maple cookies.
You were hooked.
Like, like there's things like that. We work at the Australians in certain places. And then I remember also working with the British on one of my deployments. And, you just shoot the shit. And what I'm getting at here is, at the end of the day, walking by, I'm going to lead this into beer and war in a second. We're all people. No matter what country you're from, we love the same things. And that rung so true on my last deployment. So the British can drink as much as they want. At a certain location, they have their own bar. Mm-hmm. And they used to be loud and rowdy. You had to be specially invited there if you weren't British. But they'd have soccer on, loud and rowdy. Meanwhile, us Americans, we had our own little sports bar, and you can only drink 3 beers. I'm saying beers because it's Heineken, Bud Lights, some other cider or something like that. There's a couple liquors, but you had 18 hours. You could only have 3 alcoholic beverages in 18 hours, and I can't even begin to tell you how many of us became mathematicians at this point, because you're like, all right, if I have a drink at this time, then I can have this at this time, and then it lines up when I get off and this. But like what I'm saying is like just drinking beer amongst all the other nonsense, because I've been deployed at the height of a lot of the the enduring freedoms, the inherent resolves. Like I've put fuel on planes that have gone and dropped bombs on football stadiums. So it's just like, at the end of the day, we are all human beings, and you find that out through these conversations. So it's almost like that kid brother, like, you're a bully in the schoolyard picking on this other guy who all he's like, dude, we just want to live peaceful, man.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things.
Yeah. I will tell you, the stories coming out of it, and you hear a lot of stuff, I obviously not all of it's true, but some of it, the stories that I hear, I'm like, yeah, that was Russia 20 years ago in Kosovo.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have fuel. They didn't have fucking food. They were stealing fuel from our trucks and begging for MREs and food. And I mean, that has just been who Russia's military has been for
today, apparently.
yeah, 100%. So it's just you hear about it and you're like, man, I can relate. As a matter of fact, I know what they smell like, right? Like they smell like a walking armpit. Like, when you see on the news, when you see like the tanks rolling down the streets of Ukraine, the first thing that comes to my mind is the inside of that track smells like fucking pure armpit from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about it.
And then even just sides are green.
Oh, Matt's got his robo voice going on over there. Matt, you there?
Eating MRs. Oh no, I'm still here. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I froze, but you're still fine.
We caught you up.
Weird.
We cut you up.
I don't know. Any internet. Anyways, yeah, it's just there's times where I'm eating MREs and it's like I'm thankful for a hot meal, or when you get back from a deployment, like everyone talks about it like it's prison. It's like, what are you gonna eat the first thing? What are you gonna do the first thing? And then you all get drunk off of 2 beers in the airport. And you pound Dunkin' Donuts, you pound Chipotle. It's just war humanizes everything, and it's just crazy just to see, because all walks of life, but at the same time it also brings out the best in people, as we're seeing with this brewery, they don't want to be making, trust me, they'd much rather you in there to have a pint of beer than making bombs that are going to do whatever they got to do. And if anybody on the news happens to see a bomb that gets thrown that has Hops News on the label, please let us know.
Yeah. Definitely. If you can catch that on TikTok, tag us. Do something. Twitter.
I really need to see that. That's pretty badass.
Yeah. Well, I seen some Molotov cocktails in work over there in Ukraine after we made the donation, and I was pretty sold that those were our bottles that were a part of that action.
Go ahead.
So.
My headcanon is that those are our bottles at some point. So
yeah,
we're doing our part.
Yeah. Definitely an interesting time. My heart definitely breaks for the Ukrainian people. Not an easy situation. I don't know. I apologize because I don't watch the news anymore. I've literally given up on watching the news.
I read my news.
I don't even know that I do that anymore, man. But from my understanding, the breaking point was that NATO was becoming too friendly with the Ukrainians, and not that NATO would ever invite Ukraine in. Because
they were actually.
Really?
Ukraine was applying for NATO. They were putting their NATO application in, which is why. But the rule is, you can't apply for NATO while you have border disputes. And so, just to wrap that up, that's why Russia did what they did, because if they want the old whatever back. So that's that. But we got to guess.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense for sure. And we do have let me see if we can get him lined up here. I think we have him lined up here. Do we got him there? I think we have him there.
You got me?
John.
Hello?
Got you.
John with Hops and Brews. Hey, this is kind of a special guest, and we hadn't chatted much about this, but John with Hops and Brews is going to join us as a special guest tonight. He's running a little bit. He's a little bit behind because he is over on the West Coast, so he's actually probably just getting into the house from work, right, John?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we sure can. Can you hear us?
Hear you, yep.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Awesome.
Great.
So John, we were just talking about war and beer, and I'm sure you've probably heard of the Pravda Brewing over there in Ukraine and heard their story and their efforts with the Molotov cocktails. But you've kind of got a different war and beer story going on personally.
Yeah, I have an internal war going on. I have my digestive system is fighting against me. It is eating me alive, essentially. I am doing something very special that monks have been doing for over 400 years. And I decided to, give it a shot. And it's kind of an interesting story. It's from the Paulaner monks back in Germany. They brewed a beer called the Salvator beer, but they brewed it specifically for Lent and fasting. and they called it the liquid bread, and they fasted on this for 46 days of beer alone. And I thought that was a very interesting concept, and so I thought, as a beer channel, I have to try this. I have to put the money where my mouth is. So I am only drinking beer. And actually, right now, I'm drinking the Salvatore, the exact beer the monks drank, for 46 days. No solid food, no snacks, no chewing gum, no sugars, nothing. Beer, water, and I need a little coffee in the morning, but just straight black coffee. That's all I do. That's it. So
you did this
I'm
last
on.
year, right?
No, this is the first year. Last year I did only non-alcoholic, and then the year before I did only low-calorie beers. So I've been kind of working myself down.
So John, you said you've got some beer channels. Just back up a little bit. We'll get to the story at hand. Tell us about what you do with beer and the outlets that you're on and the media and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. So I'm on a YouTube channel called Hops and Brews, where I explore and just basically do beer reviews or interesting sciencey facts. I even once carbonated a beer with just my own breath. So I do. Yeah. It's I almost died.
How does that work?
I almost died during that. You could take pure CO2 or pure oxygen. Pure oxygen. So you got to go buy one of those oxygen cans. I think I froze there because my internet's very slow right now. I didn't prep for this. But if you do that, then your lungs produce CO2. And so I put it into a bag and then carbonated using a bike pump, a tiny bike pump, which would suck in whatever air is around it, carbonated, pumped CO2 back into the bag, produced by my own body. It was an experiment. I also did I also did shock beer, where you take one of those muscle, shockers, and I put it on my arm and try to drink a beer with that. That one's pretty funny to watch. I recently did one, a much better way to. Yeah, kind of like a jackass. I recently did one of a much better way to pour beer. So actually turning your beer can to the side will give you a much easier, smoother draft-like pour. And then also I do, beer reviews on the side. So I have another channel, or I don't have the channel, but I co-host it. It's called Craft Computing. We do a once weekly tech and beer show where we do about 20 minutes of the beer news around the world, something that probably hits more globally, probably not your local places, but something interesting. We did do the Ukrainian brewery. We talked about that one. But and then we do more tech stuff, as my background in my regular job is IT. So,
dang, yeah, wow, wow.
I'm hungry. Sorry, I have to have this. This is my dinner.
I don't doubt it.
That's it.
How many? Oh, go ahead, Jay.
That's an interesting approach for sure. What is your approach with this one? Are you seeking high calorie beers? Do you have in the morning I've got to go light beers, and do you have a set schedule or an approach that you're trying, or what? How do you even go about this?
Right. That's a very good question. One I ask myself every day. I actually got in touch with a guy who, when I'm doing the research, was the first person I saw actually did this successfully. And he started talking to me and he gave me advice. And I talked to a doctor and all that other stuff. But it's mostly just figure it out as you go. So yesterday I had a shower beer. Today I just had a glass of water. So yeah, I don't know. I'm on 48 hours still, so I got 44 more days to go.
So I've got a question, John, and this is going to take our show from probably PG-ish to probably some rated R content. When you've gone with nothing, so and I'll preface Yeah, I'll preface my ask with that I have my first colonoscopy scheduled for the 28th of March. So
Okay.
I kind of understand what it is that you're going through, but in that bowel movement with just beer, is there enough substance, or are you constantly peeing and not having to worry about the number 2?
Okay. Interesting. That's a great question because I had to do something just before I hopped on this live stream. But yes, going number 1, I've quadrupled the amount of times I'm going number 1.
Yes.
About once every 45 minutes to an hour. I am just going, and it's a full bladder.
Yeah.
I'm also keeping track of my liver, so I'm drinking a lot of water. So that also could be it too. I don't want to kill my liver here. But as far as the number 2, it's like a valve movement with a bunch of sticky paste coming out.
Like peanut butter.
That kind of like peanut butter. Like I had to do 2 flushes and some extra wipage on the toilet because it was so thick and but yet it was liquidy. I'm trying to keep it as PG-13 as possible.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
that would be.
I gotta cut in real quick.
Go ahead.
I just realized we've interacted so much on Twitter already before. I recognized your background. So through the Hops Geek News I do, I just pieced it together, Hops and Brews, because on Facebook I knew you as something totally different. It took me a minute. I was like, I know this background. Okay, we're good. I'm sorry. That's it. That's all I had. Like we have interacted a ton before on Twitter. Okay, we're good. We're moving on.
We're moving on. But yeah, as much as it is a lot easier to go, that's the great part. There's no fiber needed.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Definitely wouldn't be needed. John, it's been great to talk to you. I would tell you what, I've asked you before earlier today, can we do this like on a regular basis on our Instagram? Like check in with you maybe every day or every other day, just a quick live to get an update with you?
Yeah, we can definitely do something. I can go ahead and set up. So I'm in my studio right now, but I got another side, and I can leave it permanently set up, and I can do a quick live or something really fast. I know my internet isn't set up really good right now, but usually it is for my other live stream, so I can give you better quality.
Awesome.
Next up, yeah. So I am totally down for doing more updates. We can definitely chat and kind of nail down the details.
Yeah, for sure. So plan every Thursday. We will let you know. It's been kind of hit or miss lately with everybody on this side, only because all of our lives are in 100 different directions right now. But you and I will stay in touch. Lauren is also, Matt as well. We'll get you some live content in the next several days, maybe an update every day or every other day. But definitely on Thursday evenings, would love to bring you back just to kind of get an update on your progress. Because I would imagine going through this, there's going to be some challenges, and you've probably experienced some of those challenges in your recent attempts and your recent Lents and beer and low-cal beers and all of those non-alcoholic attempts. So I think you probably have some good content to share and some good pointers.
Great. I'd love to share it as I go. I have no problem with that.
So, question. At work, how does it work at work? Like in the office, do you just pop open a beer at lunch?
Oh,
do you
I'm not at work at lunch. What are you talking about?
So, hey, I'm going.
I get an hour a day. I go to the local tap room. They know me. So hang on. Interesting story. Today at lunch, I met the brother who started Papa Murphy's.
Oh wow!
It was like an odd thing of like, who are you? And he's like, oh yeah, my brother started Papa Murphy's, and I own all these chains around Oregon and the West Coast. I'm like, what? I want to talk to you for an hour.
I hope this guy gives you all the Papa Murphy's at the end of these 40 days.
I convinced him that he said he's going to try in one franchise to do a beer infused crust.
Oh,
so
yes.
So he says, like, that's I need to do that. And I was like, yes, you do. And I'm going to take credit for it.
As you should, because it spawned from this conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, John, we appreciate. Give us your plug. Where can people find you? What's the ats for social medias? That sort of thing. How can they follow your journey?
Yeah, everything. I'll post everything on all of my social media stuff, all the beers I'm drinking and everything every day. I try to do a morning recap and an end of day recap. TikTok Hops and Brews, Instagram Hops and Brews, Twitter Hops and Brews, YouTube Hops and Brews. Basically everything Hops and Brews. I think Facebook I had to be Hops and Brews because there's some Vietnamese restaurant that's called Hops and Brews.
Really?
But
that's so random. It's not.
It is. It's like this weird little island Vietnamese restaurant. It's called Hops and Brews, and they have a little like 4 tap list, and it's like, oh my gosh, you took it from me. So I had to be Hops and Brews. But everywhere else, if you just Google Hops and Brews, you'll see my name pop up. I got a couple of #1 videos for reviews on some particular domestic beers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so. Awesome. Well, appreciate you joining us, John. We look forward to following your progress and hearing about the wins and the struggles along this 46-day journey.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Yes, sir. Cheers to you. Matt, what do we have to look forward to from Geeks and any parting shots that you might have this evening?
Man, that was, how do I follow that up? So,
man, 46 days of beer.
That's
crazy. Dedication, man.
That I don't think I could do that. But hey, I'm stoked to follow along with this. And it took me a minute because I know I've interacted with him a bunch on Twitter before. And I was like, I recognize this background. And then the name sounded, I'm great. I've been drinking. Anyways. Lauren and I, we just released a Supernatural episode, which Lauren, that was her Super Bowl. Hey, you know what? I learned a lot through that episode, so I'm going to start doing Supernatural trivias because I'm getting all this knowledge. So we just did that. Next week, it is International Women's Month, so we are actually talking about a lot of women superheroes and comic creators. And then after that, we actually hit our 100th episode of Hops Geek News. So we are going to be interviewing a big-time comic book editor. She's done editing for Marvel, Star Wars, DC, all the big names. So Heather Antos is going to come on. She's going to be our 100th episode. And if anybody happens to listen to our show, go ahead and send audio in to me at matt@hopsnews.beer. We are going to be playing some audio throughout that episode of you just being like, hey, you guys fucking suck. Or, hey, congrats, guys. Or whatever you want to say to us. I'm going to play it through. And other than that, be aware I'm going to be doing some live stuff. I'm going to Texas for about a month. Going to be hopefully hitting a lot of breweries. So hopefully bringing in some good beer content here. And also go to our website, hopsnews.beer. I just dropped a spoiler-free Batman review because I saw it 2 days ago because I'm better than you. And I know it. And God, that movie's so fucking good. So just go see Batman. And that's all I have.
I'm looking forward to your Texas travels for sure.
Oh man. I haven't been back to the Lackland in San Antonio in 10 years, so it's going to be cool and different going back now versus shaved head and basic training.
I bet it is. Hey, congratulations to Lauren and Josh down there living it up, having a good time. I will tell you, there is nothing like a kid-free weekend for your anniversary and getting to go hit up some breweries. I hope you two are really enjoying it and having a good time. Hey, stay in touch. Follow us on Instagram. I think that's probably where we're gonna do our updates with John. It makes it an easy platform that we can do live. Jump on there live. Catch up with John. We'll bring him back on Thursday nights. Also, check out the Patreon. We released our schedule. We're getting ready to send out our Woodland Empire care package for Q1, and on schedule for Q2 is the Veil. Q3 just came online with Common Law. Brad and Mark over there at Common Law.
Happen?
Yeah.
Wait, what? What did I miss that? What?
Yeah, that was that was another big one. Brad will have some. They have new merchandise and swag, and obviously we'll have some more beer lined up for Q3 for us. Looking forward to that. Q4 is still up in the air, but this is going to be a
Hardywood because it's our Christmas tradition.
Hey, that might be. This is going to be a year for care packages like no other. I mean, just the first 2 right out of the gate. Those are going to be some pretty special care packages. So people will be on the lookout for those. Go check that out. Hey, it's been real. Check us out on Hops News, at Hops News on all the social media platforms. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And as always, drink
good beer.
more beer and go support Pravda. If you're a guy that's like, I want to support some Molotov cocktails at Russian tanks, go order some beer from them.
You've always wanted to throw a Molotov cocktail at a tank, which you can through proxy.
Yeah. I just hope that one day, like, they don't declare them like a terrorist organization and start doing bank records or something.
Who cares? You know, at this
Fuck
point, I honestly, my biggest hope from this whole thing is that they get through this and we can talk with Yuri on
Man,
the episode, because that might be the best episode they ever do. So that's my hope.
I'll be
Go support
so
where you guys can.
yeah, I'll be so drunk for that episode. All right, folks.
Man.
Appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great night, and cheers to you. Cheers to Hoppy or Lauren and Josh. Have a good one,
Cheers
guys.
to Lauren and Josh. Scooter Gang.
All right, Matt. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, that was a fun one, man. I'll talk to you here soon.
Are you guys? You guys aren't recording for a while. Hopefully.
We are. So we pre-recorded this episode that's coming out this Sunday.
Good.
I'm probably gonna record another episode with some other people to push out next week at some point.
Nice.
And then we're trying to pre-record a few episodes because I don't know what my laptop situation is. I'll be able to join Hops News from my phone probably with the mic, but I don't know what my laptop situation is as far as all the editing and all that. So I'm trying to pre-record episodes so that we can have it come on.
That makes sense.
So,
Well, good luck with it, man. Good chatting with you.
man.
Looking
Always
forward
good
to the content out of Texas.
I'm stoked. Hopefully I get some interviews for us. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, man. Be safe.
Later,
Have a
dude.
good night. Bye-bye.